can't remember who he's writing to, but he says, at least you could have spit on a piece of paper and sent it to me. Well, hey,
What house?
my house. Classical Rebellion. I think the consecration of the house was, it could have been a theater.
I imagine it was, but I'm trying to remember which
we
one.
could look it up, but why would we look it up when we can look like, obviously we don't know everything. We don't want to come off as know-it-alls.
No, I mean, this is just our opinion. We're just two guys out there talking about classical music. You know, if we leave a question open, go look it up.
Look it up.
You have a computer at home.
Yeah, you have a computer in your pocket.
What we're here to talk about is Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky, Symphony Number 6.
This Tchaik 6.
The Consecration of the House was a Beethoven overture, by the way. We kind of picked it up. We're talking about Florida Orchestra.
That's right. In Tampa Bay.
In Tampa Bay with the great
Michael
and
Francis.
powerful Michael Francis.
Who is our conductor here for the Mainly Mozart Festival.
Yes, he's the music director for the San Diego Mainly Mozart Festival, of which I am an employee.
For the last 2 years? Did he come in 2 years? Or
this will
3?
be my third.
No, how long's he been here?
Oh, this is his 6th year.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, this will be his 6th. Because it's the 5th year of his 6-year journey, and he started that after his first year.
And he's done a fine job with it.
Yeah. And, you know, we even had a group of Florida Orchestra, I think board members and supporters, came out to the festival the first weekend of the festival this last year. And thank you if you're watching this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope you
see you again.
I hope you found value in it. We did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we find plenty of value in Michael Francis conducting the San Diego Mainly Mozart Festival Orchestra.
Yeah, it's for those of you who may not know, it's an all-star orchestra composed of it's about 30 to 35 players, composed of section leaders. And,
it's a classical orchestra
from all over the country.
So
from
classical,
major orchestras all over the country, and they're on fire every year for 2
years. And
weeks.
I've got to say, I'm a little timid in talking about Tchaikovsky's 6th because I know Maestro Francis is going to give a pre-concert talk.
Well, I'm sure he probably
and I know
will.
It's going to be much better than
Well, yeah, I mean, I have my opinions about the Tchaikovsky.
So you're not a fan of the Tchaikovsky?
No, I am a fan. It's an amazing work.
Yeah.
But I have an interesting little sidelight for you via Gustav Mahler.
Okay.
And his opinion about Tchaikovsky. I'm gonna forward you a link to a series of interviews that was done in the early 1960s by a guy in Los Angeles who was able to interview about 10 men who played with Mahler in New York
with the
New York Philharmonic. And getting them to talk after 50 years after the fact, to get them to share their memories of personal memories, firsthand memories of Gustav Mahler, what he was like, you know, how did he walk, how did he behave, how did he talk, how did he conduct, how did he rehearse, and he was only there for about 18 months.
Right, he got sick.
His health was very much failing. But it also was not a particularly successful tenure. I mean, he could not fill the house.
Well, the Italians were against him. They were pushing Toscanini. And there was definitely political, cultural factor.
The theaters were, the concert hall was never full for him.
Interesting.
Which I find
incredible.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So what's he say about Tchaikovsky?
Well, he was of the opinion, because they finally, towards the end of his tenure, they had a party for him. And he loosened up. And he would never socialize. He never, and these were all guys, some of these guys followed him to New York from Vienna.
That would be a very rare person, because the musicians hated him in Vienna.
So at this party, Mahler loosened up, and they're all talking and one thing and another, and the guys did some playing with him and stuff, and they had fun. He was laughing, and they were talking to him about Tchaikovsky, and one of the things he said about Tchaikovsky, he said, "It's not really symphonic, is it?" He said, "It's all Italian melodies." He said, but it's not really symphonic music, is it? Now, I wonder, what did he mean by that? What did he mean by that?
It's an excellent Mahler impersonation, by the way.
Thank you very much. But what did he mean by that? Did he mean that Tchaikovsky's his textures and development is more fundamentally operatic because the sixth starts out like it could be part of Don Carlo or the beginning of Simon Boccanegra with the deep, dark, the low strings, writing in muddy thirds way down in the bass with the bassoon on top of it, sort of growling
away. It's very Russian,
away.
Though. To me, that's a very Russian texture.
I wouldn't say it's Russian. I agree that it's like it could be anywhere. It's just a minor chord.
Russian.
But did he mean it was fundamentally operatic and dramatic rather than purely musical? That's
a little disingenuous coming from Gustav Mahler.
Well, but no, in the same conversation, he also said that Chabrier's Espagne Rhapsody was and he said it in front of the whole orchestra, was the foundation of modern music. Now, was he being sarcastic?
Maybe. It's a lovely piece of music.
I love that piece of music. I've said so on this program.
Yeah.
But the foundation of modern music? Really? And I've been racking my brain about how could he mean that? Maybe he was just being sarcastic. I don't know.
Well, what do you mean by modern music, though? Because this is before the Rite of Spring.
Well, but it's by modern, he's talking about post-romanticism.
Okay.
So I don't see it myself, but so I think the way he means a statement like that is open to question, open to interpret.
Right.
We have to speculate about what exactly did he mean by that. But he didn't. He questioned Tchaikovsky as a symphonic composer. Now, having said all that, this is he didn't name it the Pathétique.
No.
That is entirely editorial.
Yeah.
This is clearly we know that Mahler's symphonies are personal statements. Yeah. They are lived.
Yeah.
Right, it's kind of like Jerry Seinfeld writing this, or what's his name from Curb Your Enthusiasm? Larry David writing his life.
Right.
They just write their life. This is what we should do a show about. What? What about this? Oh, okay. That's Mahler. I'm just going to write about my experiences. This is like in the 10th Symphony, the drum strokes. It's the funeral procession of a fireman went by.
Yeah.
And that's what that's all about. He was writing his life. So was Tchaikovsky in this symphony.
Okay.
This is a personal symphony.
Yeah.
And it starts in dark, growly, dirty knots. And that's where it ends.
Yeah.
So
it's quite a journey.
Oh, it is quite a journey. It's quite an explosive journey.
Yeah. That first movement, there's the section where it's like the world is on fire.
It comes back. Oh yeah, well no, okay.
And then out of the ashes rises that theme again. It is.
But
stunning symphonic moment, Gustav Mahler.
You start out well. Yeah, I'm talking about Tchaikovsky here. So, but I see what you mean here. Well, yes, but so we start out in the depths of self-loathing.
Ah, okay.
We go into the interesting second movement, which is
it's the brightest, sunniest day you've ever experienced.
It's either in 5/4 or duple 10/4. Right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Very interesting compound meter. Complex.
Yeah.
Right? It's a waltz, but not really.
Perhaps the foundation of modern music.
It's clearly, he's surveying a cultivated landscape.
Yeah.
Then the ebullient third movement where he's on the chase.
Yeah.
And triumphant. And then what happens?
Immediately.
We are back into self-loathing. Now, I'll let you guys do your own research. Tchaikovsky, and I'm not discounting it as pure music, but I think when we look at Tchaikovsky's, because
it need not mean this,
but it probably did.
Right.
And here's
to the audience member though.
No,
it can mean,
but it probably I think that the central issue of this symphony, where it begins and where it ends, and I'm not saying it in an accusatory way, because it's a fundamental human failing. He's dealing with personal sin. He's dealing with a personal shortcoming. And you can do your own research. You can go find out what the theories about Tchaikovsky's personal shortcomings were. And he wasn't, by all accounts, he was not a perfect human being. No one is, okay? But this is a deeply, deeply honest, critical look at his own life, and it's almost heartbreaking.
Yeah,
you know,
the honesty of it.
The honesty of it is shattering.
He goes to a place. He confronts the shadow. If you allow me to speak in Jungian terms for just a moment, and I think he lost. You can confront the shadow, and you can lose.
Oh, he definitely lost. I mean, otherwise he would probably not have died as young as he did.
Right.
And you know, if we know that Mahler had the reputation of being somewhat uptight, a complex being. Yeah. You know, Tchaikovsky could not have been easy to deal with. No. I mean, talk about strung as tight as a piano wire.
I can't remember who he's writing to, but he says, at least you could have spit on a piece of paper and sent it to me. Like, he feels it, you know, and Beethoven was this way too. Because Beethoven's on this. You know, Josephine, he overwhelmed her with his ardor.
Tchaikovsky is nothing if not ardent.
Yeah.
Ardent.
No one can handle Beethoven's intensity in a relationship, and there's no reason why Tchaikovsky was any different.
Yeah, and
or me.
Well, you know, but I mean, when you look at the productivity of the man, the tightness of the focus of his life, it's his existence must have been shattering on a daily basis. So this is a deeply personal look at Tchaikovsky, in my humble opinion. And we may never know, because the family won't ever let anyone look at his letters. They never have. Yeah. His letters are still private and held by his family. But there's just something, if you look at what is said to have happened, what did happen, and what the artistic product is at the end of his life, I think the symphony is the evidence that this was a man who was deeply confronting inner demons, and he lost. Yeah, but we all gained by his having confronted them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I don't like Dvorak's Eighth Symphony. He was in a good spot. It's a masterpiece. It just doesn't appeal to me. It's like it's.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, you know, anything that I ever do right is probably going to be a comedy. It's just like, you know,
right. I will say, as a little bit of a different direction for what you were saying, you need not understand or go into the research about Tchaikovsky himself. In fact, my advice would be that you use this as an opportunity to turn inward yourself.
Oh, absolutely. No. Yeah. This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is that whether you do or don't, this is a symphony that is applicable to the faults and failings in every single human being.
Yeah.
This is because no one is perfect, and we all wind up falling short or regressing into a habit at one point or another. Nobody's perfect.
I believe the phrase you're looking for is "for all have sinned."
Yeah.
And fallen short of the glory of God.
Yeah, I've heard that somewhere. That's from a book.
It is. It's from The Lord of the Rings.
Oh. Anyway, Tchaikovsky Sixth, deep work and deeply virtuosic.
Yeah. And I really wish I could get out there to hear this
deeply virtuosic. I'd love to hear him conduct that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, John.
Classical Rebellion.